It looks like Diddy will have to continue to serve his prison sentence because Trump says he's not giving him a pardon. Back in November, TMZ reported that Diddy was telling his fellow inmates in New Jersey that President Trump would give him a pardon in early 2026. He is currently serving a 50-month prison sentence. Diddy was sentenced in October of 2025, and TMZ reports that his team immediately reached out to the White House. They wanted to get in touch with Trump about a potential pardon for Diddy. A few days later, Trump told the media that he was aware that Diddy wanted a pardon from him. Sources told TMZ that at the time, Trump was going back and forth about whether he would actually give Diddy a pardon. But now it looks like he's made his decision. Despite having a long-standing history with Diddy, Trump says he will not grant him a pardon. He told the New York Times that he received a letter from Diddy requesting a pardon, but he tells the outlet that he is not considering granting the request. I think this was probably Diddy's last hope to try to get out of prison early.
Diddy isn't the only one writing letters, though. 50 Cent also wrote a letter to the judge before Diddy's sentencing asking him to not be released. 50 was writing letters to the judge trying to get him to somehow sentence Diddy to life. In his letter, 50 talked about just how dangerous Diddy actually was and how he might come after the victims if he was allowed to get out.
And you know what, you guys? Let me also write a letter to the judge. 50 said, "Dear Judge Subramanian, I have an ongoing dispute with Puffy for over 20 years. He's very dangerous. Multiple times I have feared for my life. I think you should consider the safety of the general public, Your Honor, before unleashing him upon them. There hasn't been enough time for him to reform or make any adjustments, despite him trying to teach a class in there. As you are already aware, the government has spent the maximum amount of money on deploying federal agencies, which appear to be an army in two locations simultaneously. Later, his son, who's dealing with his own rape allegations, hey, come on, brother, come on, man. What Christian Combs got to do with this, 50? He claimed that the feds had hit the wrong house. Anyway, Diddy's only going to return to hiring more male workers and keeping most of the baby oil away from the general public. And babies need it. My Netflix doc on this scandalous subject is coming soon. Oh man, this is downright evil, you guys. Why would 50 send this to the judge?
No one is willing to help out Diddy anymore. His celebrity friends and political contacts have all left him out to dry. At this point, Diddy is just a scapegoat for the rest of the entertainment industry. They're blaming him for everything and trying to say that they weren't responsible for any of it. Diddy is alone now, and his career is dead.
They did what they needed to do in this documentary. The whole objective of this documentary was to blame it all on Diddy. The devil made me do it, blame it all on Diddy, and the rest of the industry is nothing like this. Like when Curtis Jackson sat there in his interview with Robin and sat there and said, I did this because I don't want people thinking that the hip-hop community is okay with this kind of behavior. I don't want them thinking that, we're just going to be silent while all of this is going on, like we're okay with this kind of behavior. And my thing is how? So now you speaking for all of hip-hop, and all of hip-hop is uncomfortable with this. Meanwhile, you got people like Ja Rule who, on the low-key, allegedly, G Deal has exposed for having his own nude tryst freak-offs with Diddy.
Diddy's kids are trying to clean up his image now. Diddy knows that at this point, even if he does get out, his career is dead, and he needs to do something to shift the narrative in his favor. Diddy's kids announced that they were partnering with the Zeus Network to release a documentary that focuses on Diddy's side of the story. The trailer also revealed that Diddy is going to be a part of the documentary. Now, as if things weren't bad enough already for Diddy, reports came out that he had been caught drinking in prison. And let me tell you, Trump hates alcoholics. The only reason Diddy was even at Fort Dix was so he could join their rehab program and get out early. Ex-inmates have confirmed that Diddy was most probably buying this hooch from other inmates and paying them to make it for him.
The idea that he would drink behind bars, especially while he's potentially seeking a pardon from President Trump, who
doesn't like drinking. But, here's the thing, though. He was white-knuckling. I mean, he intended not to drink. He intended to do better. But he never was in a program. This is his first shot at actually getting rehabilitation.
Well, Sarah, I wanted to ask you about that because it looks like there's almost more eyes on him now, post-trial, He's now gotten into trouble twice. I know he'll have his due process, but you have the drinking allegations, you have the three-way call allegations. I mean, this is not good for somebody who wants to get out of prison sometime soon.
It's not at all, but I also think, I wonder, Tom, how much he's thinking, I've got 2 pending appeals, my conviction and my sentence. He thinks he has a really good shot
Of just getting out.
Of just getting out, and so this is all a wash. I mean, I don't know to what extent this is sort of this callous sort of thinking on his part, or he just is an addict.
And he's telling me today he's writing a book.
And he's writing a book, which could cause him more problems under the Son of Sam law in New York if he's monetizing on his crime.
This is all absolutely terrible if true. I mean, Combs made such a big deal about wanting to go to Fort Dix.
Yeah.
He's trying to get out sooner than the 50 months in prison, Tom. The idea that he would be violating rules left and right within 2 weeks of getting there is really unfathomable after, again, listening to him cry and sob in front of the judge just recently saying, I want to do good, I'm sober, and I want to be released to go home to my family. So again, and like you said, President Trump, he doesn't like drinkers, okay? He doesn't drink himself. His brother was an alcoholic, and so he has very strong opinions about that. He's talked about it, and if Diddy's seeking a pardon from President Trump before the new year, this is not a good look.
Videos of Diddy from inside prison also leaked recently. TMZ obtained images that show Diddy hanging out with gang members and smiling. These are the same people that Diddy has been bribing with the chance to build a career, and probably the only reason Diddy hasn't been attacked yet. 50 Cent trolled Diddy by posting these images on his IG with the caption, "He looks happy with those handsome men around."
Well, Diddy is just a working class stiff while he's at Fort Dix. So when you're at a prison and somebody says, you read any good books lately? Diddy is the answer. He's the guy to go to because you got video of him at Fort Dix reporting for work in the library where he is making recommendations and handing out different movies and books for his fellow inmates.
I'm really fascinated just by the library
But
itself.
you're seeing him here. This is him reporting work, taking off his jacket, taking off his scarf, and settling in for a day on the job.
It looks like a public school library.
Yeah.
It's
This is the chapel. This is the media library in the chapel, which is where Diddy's currently working. He's working in a Life Connections program, which is an 18-month program that helps rehab people and get them closer to spirituality, to charity groups, and with that, it will shorten his sentence. But in this media library, he helps inmates with religious material, rent out movies, that kind of stuff. You see him pushing a
really
cart
interesting.
with a TV on it.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the laundry room when he first got there.
Yeah,
This gotta be a promotion.
it feels like a promotion. It feels like maybe he tried the lunchroom and put in a request for something different.
Yeah, it does it does sound like he used maybe possibly some connections to get a better job.
Even without the pardon, Diddy could be getting out of prison as early as this year. It's probably why he's trying to release a documentary. If Diddy gets out in this political climate, he and his kids are never finding work again.
Well, Trump recently announced that he's not going to be pardoning Diddy.
I seen that.
Yeah. Are you surprised?
Yes.
Me too.
I thought he would have pardoned it.
Yeah, because they used to be homies back in the day.
I think maybe Diddy didn't do what he was supposed to.
What was that?
You know how that go, man. You know, hey, listen, the Chevy in the parking lot, them parties ain't just happening that. This a fact. Not those type of parties. But if Diddy does right and he's in the drug program, he'll be home later this year anyway.
This year?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think so. He's not coming home.
You want to do the math?
Let's do the math.
Okay, let's do the math. 50 months, right? He got 50 months.
Right. About a 12 months time served?
Hold on. He got 12 months time. Do they take the 15 from the top? Yeah. Okay, so minus is 15%. That leaves 42 and a half months. Minus, he had,
about 12.
12 months time served? 12.
So that's 30.
That's 30. Minus another 12 months for the drug program. That's why he went there. You do the drug program. They
18 months.
12 months off. 18 months minus 6 months for the halfway house. 12 and a half months. He got sentenced when? In October? Was it October?
I think that's too soon, but yeah.
All
All right, listen, if
I'm
you're right,
doing all the deductions.
listen, I'll be happy if
You
Diddy's
do know
free.
that's why he wanted the drug program.
Right, to get a reduction. I
You
get
get
it.
it 12 months off, and then they send you to the halfway house 6 months early.
It's crazy how Diddy's lawyers were lying about never even talking to Trump for a pardon. They knew that if this story got publicity, Trump wouldn't be interested. No one wants to be responsible for an abuser getting out.
White House official declined to comment on, quote, speculation and told us any decision on pardons would come from the president himself. Combs' attorney, Mark Agnifilo, said he has not talked to the Trump administration about it. You mean to tell me that you really have nothing to do with a possible pardon right now?
Nothing. I have nothing to do with a possible pardon.
What is Sean Combs saying about the possibility of the pardon?
I think he knows I'm not political. We've never discussed it other than I tell him what's in the news about it. But you know,
And what's his reaction? Does he laugh? Does he say, let's look into it? What does
go
he
tell him that I need a pardon. Go tell him I deserve a pardon. That's what he said.
How are you preparing him?
So I tell him what the guidelines are. And the guidelines are about 2 or 3 years. And I tell him, the judge could go above the guidelines.
Do you have any regrets in how you tried this case?
It's a good question. Not really.
You called the relationship between Combs and Ventura a great modern love story. Ventura said she was raped, physically abused, and became addicted to drugs because of Combs.
I think that's what makes it vehement. And I know I respect that you said that. I don't think the jury concluded that happened. In terms of the drugs and the other stuff, I think that's what makes it a modern love story. I think she very much loved him, and I know he very much loved her.
Cassie Ventura's attorney told us that Agnifilo's description of the relationship is a, quote, complete disgrace and affront to survivors of domestic violence.
The only reason we even found out about the pardon is that Trump announced it during a press conference. Trump made it clear that Diddy had reached out, but that he wasn't interested in helping him. That single statement shut down months of speculation and instantly flipped the narrative. Everything Diddy thought he had working behind the scenes was suddenly exposed in public. And once that happened, there was no walking it back.
Just 3 days after Diddy was sentenced to over 4 years in prison on prosecution charges, President Donald Trump seems to confirm he's heard from the mogul's legal team. The comments coming Monday from the Oval Office as reporters asked about a pardon for Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, who's serving 20 years for trafficking.
I wouldn't consider it or not consider it. I don't know anything about it, so but I will speak to the DOJ. I don't know. I mean, I'd have to speak to the DOJ. I'll look at it. I have a lot of people who have asked me for pardons. I call him Puff Daddy, who's asked me for a pardon. I loved him. He's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy. I think he's a good guy. I'm going to stick up for him.
Trump and Diddy's ties go all the way back to the late 90s. Diddy was reportedly a guest at the president's 2005 wedding, and they ran in the same social circles.
One mogul after another. It's mogul time. It's your boy Diddy.
ET's cameras caught them together at this New York charity event in 2008.
Diddy's lawyers aren't giving up. They just filed an appeal against his federal conviction and 50-month prison sentence, asking an appeals court for either immediate release or a new lower sentence.
We're following some breaking news right now, and Sean Combs is taking the first step to appeal his conviction and prison sentence. His attorney today filed a notice of appeal. Earlier this month, the disgraced music mogul was sentenced to 4 years in prison on prostitution-related charges. His lawyers have argued the conviction should not stand because Combs lacked a financial motive for transporting male escorts. More papers detailing the arguments behind the appeal are expected to be filed soon.
The real moment everything finally fell apart for Diddy was when he became cocky enough to brag about it all. No pardon, no protection, and no powerful friends left to make the problem disappear. The leverage he thought he had evaporated, and the narrative he spent decades controlling flipped overnight.